My questions are directed to the Prime Minister, and they are in relation to recent alarming events when, on the 24th of February, Russia is said to have invaded Ukraine. Deputy Speaker, there are serious consequences of this event on trade, and no doubt Papua New Guinea's economy will also be affected in some way or another. My questions are this: is the government monitoring the situation and its impacts? What are the observations? And what possible steps will the government take to mitigate any situations, negative situations arising from this event, such as the increase in prices? Thank you.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I want to appreciate the Governor, Oral Governor's a good question. It's an important question, while short as it may be, has a strong implication for the well-being of our country and our citizens. The crisis that is taking place in Ukraine between two neighboring nations has a global effect. The effect of what happens in different parts of the world does cascade to different economies globally. Yes, we would have seen COVID-19 has a global effect on the economy. Likewise, the present crisis between Russia and Ukraine has taken a direct hit in global economy. Mostly would have been seen. In fact, this morning I was supplied a brief from Treasury. The price of crude oil, for instance, has gone past $103 a barrel. That's from a Brent perspective. And that is a scenario that we are monitoring very carefully, simply because it has a cascading effect on not just our own local economy here, but global economy. Our economy is import dependent in almost 80% of all our goods that we take, including fuel. And we're working closely with some of major fuel importers, for instance, in the space of fuel with Puma, with ExxonMobil, to try to see how best we could minimize the effect of increased price at the Bausa, and increased price in our common household goods that every Papua New Guineans and residents would feel the direct effect of such burden that is imposed by what is happening at Ukraine at the moment. In as far as our position on the Ukraine matter, we've allowed for our ambassador at the United Nations to participate in a high-level United Nations Security Council meeting that is taking place. Our country statement will be released, and that is for both sides to find peace by peaceful means, and for reconciliation and dialogue to take place, respecting sovereignty of each nation. And so that statement our United Nations ambassador will release. But locally speaking, with the possibility of increase in cost of goods and services as a direct result of the global economy that will be affected by the crisis in Ukraine, we've on one front asked ICC to have a look at how best we could control the increase of price, especially at the common goods like fuel and food that Papua New Guineans has everyday demand on. So ICC has been signaled to have a look at the price increase that might be taking place. From Treasury perspective, Treasury has been signaled to have a look at how best for us, if there are need for subsidy to be given if the inflation related to the crisis does blow up in our face. So Treasury has been also directed to work with ICC, and on our own, for us, if need be, we might come back to Parliament to give subsidy to most basic needs in our country, especially food and fuel, so that the burden of this crisis is not felt in a big way in our local economy. We also observing there's a good side about what is happening. Price of oil has gone up, price of gold has gone up, and so there'll be a trade rebalancing that might take place. The increase in cost of goods and services in our country may be a little bit matched with national government through our treasury picking more from the benefits that is associated with increased prices of oil and gas and gold in our country. So that can be balanced up at the side. So below at the consumer level, we're looking at how best national government could offer either subsidy or discounts, and a different combination has been looked upon by Treasury. In due course, we will announce to our country as to what we will do in response to inflation, if there's a hyperinflation directly as a result of what is happening at Ukraine. Thank you very much.